back to my channel, sports fans. Okay, let's get into this one right here. Well, Bill Russell debunked once again, guys. And Jim did his all-time rankings. I didn't really listen to it, but I caught a little piece of it. And oh my God, this thing right here. And it's many more things that we can just question about Bill Russell in this criteria that Jim has. Okay, it fits the narrative of Bill Russell because he don't really fit in with the all-time greats and being real leaders and leading teams to championships. You see this on your screen right here. We're going to get into this in a minute, but it says without championships, who was the best player? You tell me 1 through 4. Well, I'm going to tell you in a minute, and we're going to get into Bill Russell's finals, all the finals, and who led in scoring. But let's get into this first. Let's talk about this criteria that's so dumb for Jim that puts Bill Russell up at number 2 in, was it number 2 or number 3, whatever. It's insanity. And I heard him say something about, I don't know his whole criteria, right? But I kind of heard it before. I don't know at this time. I stopped listening to his channel. Once he started pooping on, basically Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, all these guys, Jerry West, why they couldn't win and all this stuff and why they failed and all this stuff. Well, anyways, his criteria, it fits Bill Russell into winning. That's basically it in MVPs. Winning in MVPs. Now, we're going to debunk the MVPs, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more because it just more keeps coming up about the MVPs. They're fugazi. And we told you he won these MVPs based on what? His civil rights work, okay? He wasn't a two-way player. He won an all-around player. He wasn't the best player in the league. He wasn't the best defensive player at times. So one of the things that he always says, teams that blew a 2-1 lead. Guys, that's team stuff. Team stuff. What team, Bill Russell always won these game 7s. That's team. Is team, guys. All he can do is fit Bill Russell into this team criteria. And he does it with everybody. But Bill Russell just does not stack up, guys. Let me say this, for instance. We all know Bill Russell is a one-way defensive player, right? Nothing wrong with that. He's one of the one-way defensive players of all time. And I don't know the NBA history in and out, but tell me these one-way players that won MVP. Maybe you can point one out. Defensive player. One-way defensive player that won MVP. And then tell me that one-way defensive player that won 2, that won 3, that won 4, that won 5 against guys, not some scrubs, against guys who were all-time two-way players or all-time all-around players. Tell me that. Let's look at this. All the greats, basically, either they were the best on their team in offense and defense, or they were best on their team in offense and maybe second on their team in defense. Or they were all-around players. Michael Jordan, two-way player, best on his team in offense and defense. We're talking about leaders because they claim that this Bill Russell led his team to 11 championships as a one-way defensive player. Wilt Chamberlain, best on his team in offense and defense. Kareem, best on his team in offense and defense, not his whole career. But you could say for a 10-year stretch, 10, 11, you could even say more than that, really. But we know it was at least a 10-year stretch. He was the best on offense and defense, Kareem was. What about Shaq? The best on offense and defense when he was with the Magic and before Kobe emerged. Okay, when Kobe emerged, it was kind of split. Kobe went out on his own. He was the best on offense and defense on his team for years. Tim Duncan, the best on offense and defense. We would say Bob Pettit was a two-way player, right? The best on his team in offense and defense. To me, Jerry West was the best player on his team, offense and defense. Hakeem Olajuwon, the best on his team, offense and defense. Who else we got here? Well, we wouldn't say Bird. But if I'm not mistaken, didn't Bird make more defensive teams than Kevin McHale? I guess we have to check it out. But he was an all-around player. Karl Malone is kind of sketchy right there, but he was the best player on offense on his team and no less than the second best defender on his team. What about we could say Patrick Ewing, the best on his team on offense and defense. David Robertson, the best on his team in offense and defense. Who am I leaving out right here? It's probably some more guy. Oscar Robertson. I would say he was an all-around player. Who am I leaving out here? We know Magic was all-around player. We'll just stick with them guys for right now, guys. I mean, that's all we can do. But we'll probably come up with some more in a minute. But they're trying to tell you this guy, Bill Russell, is a number 2 greatest player of all time. Jim is, based on his one-way play. Now, there was shades of him being, as we'll see, a two-way player sometimes, but it was rare. So let's look at this real quick before we get into some other things. Without championships, who was the best player? Who was the best player out of these 4 guys? If you had to rank them 1 through 4. Well, let's look at this real quick. Oscar Robertson, 1 MVP. These guys play together. 1 MVP, 12-time All-Star, 3 times All-Star MVP, 9-time, and this is important right here, 9-time All-NBA First Team, Rookie of the Year, 6-time assist leader, right? Bill Russell, 5-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 1-time All-Star MVP, 3 times, we'll tell you why this is so important now, 3-time All-NBA First Team, wasn't Rookie of the Year, 4-time rebound leader. Bob Pettit, 2-time MVP, 11-time All-Star, 3-time All-Star MVP. Was it 4 or 3? I thought it was 4. Let me make sure real quick. I'm sorry, I don't do my whole channel on AI like Jim. 4-time, my fault. 4-time All-Star MVP, Bob Pettit. Wow. Listen here, 10-time All-NBA First Team, Rookie of the Year, 2-time scoring champ, 1-time rebound leader. So this guy was a two-way player. Don't think because he only got 1 rebound title, he wasn't rebounding. No, it was just a lot of great rebounders in that era. And as we'll point out, let's remember, this center was getting all the rebounds in the first place. Wilt Chamberlain, 4-time MVP, 12-time All-Star, 1-time All-Star MVP, 10-time All-NBA First Team, Rookie of the Year, 11-time rebound champion, 7-time scoring champ, 1-time assist leader. Now this tells it all, guys. You can't wiggle your way out of this like Bill Russell was able to wiggle his way. Well, he had wiggle room for him to not be the first, second, third, or fourth scorer and still win championships. That's how he was able to wiggle his way into all these championships. Unlike Bob Pettit, Jerry West, Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, these guys like that, they couldn't wiggle their way out of it. They couldn't be the 4th leading scorer, the 3rd leading scorer, and win all these championships. I ain't gonna say they couldn't win no championships being the 2nd, 3rd leading scorer, but they couldn't win 11 championships. So let's look at this real quick. And why I put this up is, people would think because Bill Russell has 11 championships, which we didn't put him up, but because he has 5 MVPs, he's a greater player. Huh? Well, this is going to tell it all, guys. How many times you were the best at your position is one of the telltale signs of how great you were. You weren't 2nd tier or 3rd tier to another guy. You might have been 1 or 2 times, whatever. Oscar Robertson was 9 times the best player at his position, guys. Bob Pettit was 10 times the best player at his position. Wilt Chamberlain was 10 times the best player at his position. We're not talking about, in their later years, they dropped off. No, this is at their peak. When they first came in, they were the best at their position until they got old. Bill Russell, 3 times. 3 times, guys. This is mind-blowing. Jim exposes his whole argument right there, and we're not even done. We're just getting started. How can you be the 2nd greatest player of all time? How can you be a top 5, top 10 player? And you were only 3 times the best at your position, guys. Now, if you looked over here and these guys had like, this guy, Oscar Robertson, he was like 5 times the best at his position. And you saw Bob Petit, he was 6. And, Wilt Chamberlain, he was like, 6. And you could say, well, shit was spread out back then. They was taking turns. It was a battle at those positions. No! This was in Bill Russell's prime. One of these years he made All-NBA first team. Wilt Chamberlain was hurt. The other times, as we'll see, in 63 and 65, he didn't deserve it. 61 and 62, he won MVP on a second team, guys. Bring me the guys, maybe Jim might know it, that won MVP on a second team. But again, bring me the guys in the top 10 who only made all NBA first team 3 times. Oh goodness, guys. It's so much pain for these guys. So let's look at this real quick. Let's go to the NBA Finals. Let's see who was the leading scorers in all these Boston Celtics championship years. Because we know Bill Russell wasn't a two-way player, and he wasn't an all-around player. And the MVP has nothing to do with championships, guys. So, who cares who won? We know the years they won, they lost. Who cares about that? We're just going to look at the championship years, right? So, 57, Bill Russell was the 8th leading scorer. And he was 1, 2, 3. The 4th leading scorer on his team. Number 1 was Bob Petit at 30. Tom Heinsohn, 24 points per game at 2. Bill Sharman, number 3. That's 2 Heinsohn, 3 Bill Sharman at 21. Bob Cousy, 20. So he got 3 guys scoring 20 right there. I forget this guy's name. Hogan. I forget his name. Whatever. Then you got Martin at 7. That's the other team, the Hawks. Whatever. It really don't matter. We're just saying he had 1, 2, 3 guys on his own team scoring 20 or more points per game in front of him. And Bill Russell was the 8th leading scorer out of the top 10. Right there, just above Ramsey. Ramsey is at 11.6. The guy that, Jim says was trash. We'll see about that. 58 finals. Bob Petit. Well, we'll just do this. Out of the top 10, Bill Russell was number 7 at 14.5. Bob Petit was number 1. And let me see. Goodness God. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4 Celtics in front of Bill Russell. Oh my God. And Bill Sharman was at 3, 21 points. Frank Ramsey, the trash guy. Remember they said this guy was trash. Jim, remember, go back and hear what he said. He said, Frank Ramsey ain't even no Hall of Famer. He just jumped on there because of Bill Russell and all this stuff, and we did Frank Ramsey. He's the original great 6-man of the NBA. That, what's his name, Red Auerbach, touted this guy and said he sacrificed his play for the team, coming off the bench. Bob Cousy at 5 with 18. Tom Heinsohn, 16. And Bill Russell, the number 7 leading scorer at 14. Let's go back to 57, my fault. Anyways, number 2 in 58 was who? Tom Heinsohn, 24 points per game. Remember, he was the rookie of the year, guys. The rookie of the year led the Celtics in scoring. The rookie of the year that Bill Russell couldn't beat out. In 57. He was the 2nd leading scorer on that championship team behind Bob Petit. And let me see real quick. I want to say this too. Out of the top 10, the Celtics have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the top 10 in scoring. In 58, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys in the top 10 in scoring. Let's go to 59. Bill Russell, he don't even make the top 10 in 59. He's number 13. Let me say this real quick. I was trying to figure this stuff out on the internet. The top scorers and all this, they was lying for Bill Russell, man. every time you try to find the Celtics top scorers in the finals, they would just say, oh, Bill Russell averaged this in the playoffs, or Bill Russell averaged this through the season, or Bill Russell pulled out all these rebounds. They won't give his guys no credit because it's all about this guy who was a one-way player. Let's tell the truth. So 59, like I said, he was the 13th leading scorer in the finals out of both teams. So Tommy Heinsohn, oh God, led all scorers with 24 points per game. Okay? And let me see here. Oh, there's that Frank Ramsey trash dude again. Frank Ramsey averaged 22 points per game, was number 3 scorer. Bill Sharman was number 4 scorer. Frank Ramsey, 22 points. Bill Sharman, 22 points. Bob Cousy, 16 points. I mean, even this Jay Lushkoff, 9.5 points per game, and Bill Russell, 9.3 at 13. Wow. Wow. Crazy. 1960. Bob Pettit was the leading scorer with 25 points per game, and Bill Russell landed at number 6 behind three teammates. Tom Heinsohn was number 3, 22 points per game. Sharman was 19 points per game. Frank Ramsey was 18 points per game at 5. And who's this? Bill Russell, 16 points per game in his I think it's Clyde Lovett or something like that. He was right behind Bill Russell at 7, and Bob Cousy was 8 at 14 points per game, and then Sam Jones down there at 9. So man, they was just doing it. Out of 10, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys in the top 10 in scoring. Oh my God. So 61, Bob Pettit. He was number 1, 25 points per game. And Bill Russell down here at number 6. There go that man Tom Heinsohn again, the guy that won Rookie of the Year. He was number 3 at 22 points per game. Sharman was at 4 at 19 points per game. Ramsey, there go that trash dude again. Wow, 18 points per game. And Bill Russell comes in at 5. Bill Russell comes in at 6, leading scorer at 16. Clyde Lovett, 16. Bob Cousy at 14. Sam Jones down here at 10 at 9. They was just doing the damn thing. Wow. Could you imagine? I just said all those guys who were two-way players, right? Did I just mention all of them? In the top 10, top 25? I said either they were the best scorers and defenders on their team, or they were the best scorers, at worst, number 2 in defense. Does this look like Bill Russell? He was the best defender, but does he look like, at worst, the second best offensive? Oh, goodness. 62. Bill Russell finally wakes up. And like I said, sometimes there is shades of Bill Russell being a two-way player. But let's see what this means. 62. Elgin Baylor led with 40 points per game. Jerry West, 31 points per game. That's why I said Jerry West and Elgin Baylor was getting their teeth kicked in by the Lakers. You know who Jerry West and Elgin Baylor is? You might want to go check. And they were still losing, guys. This is how deep the Celtics were 1 through 10, 1 through 9. Bill Russell, he was number 3. But not that much, 22.9. Sam Jones, 22.1. So I would say, he was the best on his team. Maybe two-way player, yeah, right then. But Tom Heinsohn could play. He was a two-way player too. He could play some defense. Sam Jones at 3, 22. Like I said, 5. Sam Jones at 4. Bill Russell was at 3. Cousy was at 6, 16. Oh, there go that Sketch Sanders. Sketch Sanders, who was nothing. He only made the Hall of Fame because of Bill Russell. Now, mind you, we always talk about they had defensive teams. Sketch Sanders would have been about 6 of them back then. Go look at his bio. He sacrificed his numbers to play defense. Right? Casey Jones at 10 rounds it out at 8.9. 63 finals. Elgin Baylor led with 33 points per game. Jerry West, 29. These guys are losing, putting up those kind of stats, guys. And they're two-way players. I would say Elgin Baylor's the greatest two-way player, but he was a two-way player. We say Jerry West is one of the greatest. So Bill Russell came in at number 5 scorer. Told you. Sam Jones was number 3, 24 points per game. Tom Heinsohn. There go that man again. There go that two-way player again, Tom Heinsohn. 23 points per game. Bill Russell comes in at 5 at 20 points per game. And some notable names. Let's see. There go that dude Sanders. that only made the Hall of Fame because of Bill Russell, 13 points per game, Bob Cousy, 12, and then John Havlicek rounds it off. I mean, wow. How can you beat that? We're just looking at offense. I've already told you, they had defensive teams, remember, from 58 all the way to like 67? Celtics brought 3 All-NBA guys. 3 guys made All-NBA. And if they had a defensive team, it would have been about 4 or 5 guys. We're not hating on the Celtics, hating on Bill Russell. This was a team effort, guys. Nobody stuck out above any other. Some guys played defense and some guys played offense. Great. That's how they won so many. So we're not hating on Bill Russell. Bill Russell played his role, but he didn't lead nothing. And it was the same thing for the regular season, guys. His MVPs, as we'll look at in a minute, they were fugazi. 64. Wilt Chamberlain was the leading scorer, 29 points per game. Sam Jones, 21 at 2. John Havlicek at 3, 18. And we'll look at this at 5. Tom Heinsohn, there go that dude again at 15 points per game. Bill Russell now comes in at 11 points per game. And Scott Sanders, again, rounds it out the top 10 points per game. I don't know, guys. He literally, I mean, look, we're not trying to say Jim's channel is trash. He's becoming like those Nick Wright fans and those LeBron James fans and, well, not fans. You're becoming a Nick Wright and a, Stephen A. Smith and a Shannon Sharp. Look, these guys say a lot of scap. These guys say a lot of good stuff. But when it comes to their guys, they be saying ludicrous stuff that makes no sense. Jim said that I'm getting sick of guys being intimate with the guy they like. And they just like that guy, so they want to make up this and they just want to put this. This is Jim, guys. What it is, he knows that nobody will go deep to debunk Bill Russell. There's really nothing to debunk Bill Russell on, really. He's just not a top 10 player. To me, he's not top 25 until we did this 7-part series. But Bill Russell is what he is. He's one of the greatest defenders, rebounders of all time. But are we really to believe he was the greatest rebounder in his era? No, Wilt Chamberlain won 7. And on top of that, when we look at position for position, was he really the second or the third rebounder? When you have Bob Pettit grabbing 18 rebounds at a 4 position, Elgin Baylor grabbing 18 rebounds at a 4 position, Oscar Robertson grabbing like 12 rebounds a game at a guard position. So was Bill Russell really the second, third, fourth, or the first greatest rebounder of that era? Based on position? No, I don't think so. He was just one of them. But I know he wasn't the greatest rebounder of that era because he don't have nothing to show it. 4 rebound titles and Wilt had 11. Wilt shut him down. Where we at? 65. Jerry West was the leading scorer, 33 points per game. Let me make sure that ain't a typo. Well, we'll just do this real quick. Bill Russell was number 5, leading scorer, right, out of the top 10. And Jerry West, number 1 at 33. Sam Jones at 27. So these guys on this team are just getting better. As Tom Heinsohn and Bill Shaman start to get old, retired, guys like that, Bob Cousy, those guys that came in after them, their scoring is just going up now. Sam Jones, 27 points per game. John Havlicek, 18. And Bill Russell, 17. There go that Scott Sanders. He was in the top 10, right? At 13, the trash guy. Tom Heinsohn, well, I guess you could say fading. I don't know. He came in the same year as Bill Russell. Now he's down there at 11. And KC Jones he's at 9 with 11 points. KC Jones is at 11, rounding out the top 10. And then we go 65. This should be 66 right here. Jerry West led again, 33 points per game. Elgin Baylor, 25 points per game. Bill Russell was number 3 with 23 points per game. And he basically was in a tie with John Havlicek with 23 points per game. But Bill Russell had 23.6. Havlicek had 23.3. Havlicek, a top 10 defensive player of that era, along with KC Jones. And Boston Celtics had 3 guys out of the top 10 in the 60s. So Sam Jones at 5 with 22. Scott Sanders, there go that guy again, the trash. Where did this trash dude keep coming from that only made the Hall of Fame because of, Bill Russell? He was at number 6, 14 points per game. That's what it was, guys. I mean, you could say Bill Russell led, but, John Havlicek basically scored the same amount of points. And Sam Jones was right behind him 1 point. 68. Here we go again. The Lakers getting their teeth kicked in. Because according to Jim, they weren't good as Bill Russell. These two-way players wasn't good as Bill Russell, or did they just not have a team that was deep 1 through 10? Jerry West, well, let's go down here. Bill Russell was number 6 on the team. Wow, that's a drastic fall off right there, but he's been playing for a long time now. Jerry West, 31 points per game. John Havlicek, 27 points per game, number 2. 3, Elgin Baylor, 26 points per game. Bailey Howell, an add-on Hall of Famer that he don't want to count. Look, I didn't count a lot of add-on Hall of Famers when I did my criteria on Bill Russell, exposing them. I didn't count them add-ons, even though they were there. They were add-on, Hall of Famers at the end of the road that jumped on the train and rode the bench and came in for muscle memory. Just like the Ray Allen, some of the type of guys that came at the end, whatever. Bailey Howell with 21 points per game. Sam Jones at 5, 17. Bill Russell down here at 6 with 17. Yeah, that's what it is. 69. 69, old infamous game right here. And Jerry West was number 1 with 37 points per game. Remember, he was a finals MVP, guys. In this game, if I'm mistaken, they had a chance to win. Not Bill Russell. Wilt Chamberlain's leg gave out, and he never came back in the fourth quarter. And Boston pulled this off because Boston decided to do what they always do. They was the number 1 in SRS every damn season, number 1 in defense, and you can see they had all the damn top scores as far as spread out scores on their team. So the old story is that the Celtics got pissed off because the Lakers owner said they was already saying the owner of the Lakers said he promised a win. So when the Celtics got wind of that, they got pissed off before Game 7. And the Celtics, because that's what they do, they were the first Showtime team. Remember, many consider Bob Cousy the greatest point guard of all time before Magic. Now, you can say, Oscar Robertson, but we're talking about wins. He did win 1 MVP, if I'm mistaken. I think Bob Cousy, I think he was All-Star MVP a few times. He was All NBA like 10 times. It was crazy. Who knows how many All-Stars he was up there. And he led the league in assists like 8 times, right? So he was a great all-around player. I mean, you can say Oscar Robertson, but people, based on the championships, they always say Bob Cousy. So anyways, that was their style in the way they won. They would run the ball down your throat every damn game, and you couldn't keep up with them. They had this fast pace. And how they would stifle you, even though the whole era was fast-paced, they would stifle you with your defense, so you couldn't go fast-paced on them. So they ran Wilt Chamberlain. Remember, Wilt dealt with a whole bunch of injuries, the past few years coming into that. And remember, Wilt Chamberlain's like 7'1". Bill Russell was only like 6'8". Both great athletes, but built different. And, Wilt Chamberlain, he just couldn't handle it no more. His leg gave out and he didn't go back in, and the Celtics won. I'm not taking nothing away from the Celtics. It was a good idea. Okay, Jerry West was number 1, 37 points per game. Havlicek, number 2. Well, let's do this real quick. Well, it's obvious, right? Bill Russell ain't even in his top 10, right? So we can't find him. Jerry West, 37 points per game. Havlicek, 2nd, 28. Sam Jones, 3rd. 18. Baylor, 4th, 18. And, here's Wilt. I didn't even think he was in here. He was 11. He was 11. There go Bailey Howell down there at 10. And that's just the way it went. Again, we're not taking nothing away from Bill Russell at all. He's an all-time great player, and you can't take nothing away from him. But he's not where people think he is, guys. He's just not. So if you notice right here, this 61 MVP race, when Bill Russell won it in 61. I'm not going to read this all off because you can see it. But look at these other guys. Bob Pettit, 27 points per game. I guess I ain't reading off. 20 rebounds. He was an all-around player, guys. Or a two-way player, my fault. He was a two-way player. Elgin Baylor in 3rd place, 34 points, 19 rebounds. And you got Wilt Chamberlain, 38 points, 27 rebounds. And who is this? Oscar Robertson, 30 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. I mean, And the Celtics that year had 3 guys in the top 10 MVP voting. And they all shot better than Bill Russell. It don't matter if they was forwards or guards. They shot better from the field. And Bill Russell averaged 16 points, guys, on 42% shooting. And 23 rebounds. So his rebounds ain't no better than nobody else's based on position. But his scoring and his field goal percentage is horrific. Look at 62. The same thing. He won it. Also, let's remember 61. He was all NBA second team. 62, he was all NBA second team. 18 points per game, 23 rebounds on 45% shooting. A little bit better. It's decent. For a center. And then you got, who is this? Wilt Chamberlain, 50 points per game, 25 rebounds, and on 50% shooting. and then you got Oscar Robertson, 30 points per game, 12 rebounds, 11 assists on 47% shooting. I mean, God, he's a guard, guys. And then you got, who is this? Elgin Baylor, 38 points, 18 rebounds on 42% shooting. Now, he did shoot kind of miserable, but he wasn't under the basket. He was a forward. In all these years we're talking about, by the way, like I said, the Celtics have 3 All-NBA players. In some of these years, they got 4 All-Stars. So what I'm trying to say is, just for these 2 years, he wasn't, just because he averaged 20-something rebounds, and let's say, Elgin Baylor didn't, or Oscar Robertson didn't, or Bob, they still averaged monster rebounds for their position, guys. And they weren't under the basket like that, except for Wilt Chamberlain. 63 and 65, he was on All-NBA first team. Nobody knows why, because he averaged 16 points per game. He averaged 16 points per game, 23 rebounds on 43% shooting on his team, including him, 3 All-NBA players. I already said that, but it was 3 Celtics in the top 10. Who's he the most valuable to? That's what I'm trying. Either they come up with this crazy stuff, oh, well, he was the most valuable to that team, or they say his stats. So it can't be his stats, because his stats ain't better than all these other guys, and he can't be leading a team that's loaded. It's ridiculous. So Elgin Baylor, that same year in 63, 34 points, 14 rebounds on 45% shooting. Who is this? Oscar Robertson, 28 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists on 51% from the field. Goodness God. Bob Pettit, 28 points, 15 rebounds on 44% shooting. And Jerry West, 27 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists on 46% shooting. And for shits and giggles, I think this was the year that Wilt Chamberlain didn't make the playoffs. That's fine. But how is he all NBA over Wilt Chamberlain with 44 points per game, 24 rebounds on 52% shooting? How is he first team all NBA over Wilt? That doesn't make any sense. You could come up with some excuse. I don't know what you would come up for, because he won this MVP over these guys who were two-way players or all-around players. But you can't give him first team over Wilt. Wilt put up the numbers. He doubled the dude in points, got more rebounds, and just made him look like a little kid shooting at a basketball rim as far as field goal percentage. What's going on, guys? And Wilt got no votes for first place. It's ridiculous. 65. He makes all NBA first team, guys. Check this out. It's the same old. 14 points per game, 24 rebounds, on 43% shooting. Lord help me. Oscar Robertson, 30 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 11 assists on 48% shooting. A guard. Jerry West, 31 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists on 47% shooting. Sam Jones, his other teammate, was top 3 in MVP voting. Who was he leading to be the most valuable to this team? 25 points, basically 26, 5 rebounds, in 45% from the field. That is better in the MVP race than Wilt Chamberlain, who came in 4th with 34 points, 22 rebounds on 51% shooting. He got 0 votes for first place. That's crazy. 0 votes. 0. What? I don't care how many votes he got. How did Bill Russell make all NBA first team over him? Bill Russell should have won all NBA first team. This is crazy. And this is my favorite right here. We'll just leave out on this. And we're only doing, you see this from 1960 to 69. Look at all these Hall of Famers and top 75 guys. Remember, this guy, Frank Ramsey, the second guy you can see on 61 that keeps popping up, every year as a Hall of Famer. Remember, they say he was trash. Jim did. Remember, when we were looking at the finals, this guy was coming through. How many times did he lead? He was in front of Bill Russell in scoring. 60. 1, 2, 3, 4 top 75 and 3 Hall of Famers, 1960. These are all legit. Pooped on K.C. Jones. K.C. Jones was a top 10 defender in the 60s. Top 10. Out of Havlicek, Bill Russell, and K.C. Jones. They were top 10 defenders. 61. 1, 2, 3 top 75 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hall of Famers. Now that Scat Sanders is on the team. Remember, he pooped on this guy, but how many times did we see he came through? He was in front of Bill Russell a couple times, right? In scoring. But we know he was in the top 10. And we told you Scat Sanders is making the All-NBA defensive at least 5-6 times in his career. And look, he couldn't get on an All-Star team because it was already loaded. They was already bringing 3 to 4 All-Stars every year. They didn't have enough room for the dude. He sacrificed his game. Man, this is crazy. And I'm not gonna go over this whole thing again. It's just embarrassment of riches. And trust me, I didn't put you'll see the Hall of Famers that got added on at the very right. I didn't count them in my criteria, but they were there. But even without them, you're still having like 3 to 4 top 75 guys every year and 4 to 5 Hall of Famers, which means you got like 9, 10 Hall of Famers every single year on that team. Maybe until 66. And even when we go to 66, you still have 5 Hall of Famers, legit. Until 69, where you only have 4 legit Hall of Famers. It's embarrassing for this guy to... Look, guys, a lot of guys might not like it because they don't want to do the homework. Bill Russell ain't a top 10 player. He's not, to me, after I did all the homework, he's not a top 25 player guy. He's just not. If you want to put him up there for his rings and these fugazi MVPs that he should not have got, if you want to give him one MVP for being a one-way player, for beating out two-way players or all-around players, that's fine if you want to do it one time. But 5 times, that's a crime. And if you want to make your case where you can say, okay, this guy did it. This guy also did it, just like Bill Russell. No, you can't. There's been very few guys who were one-way players that was winning MVPs. That's just the facts. And if they were one-way players, they were offensive players. Like Charles Barkley. I don't know. But the fact is, you can't say he was going against one-way players, though. In the MVP race, he wasn't going against one-way players. David Robertson won an MVP, two-way player, one of the greatest two-way players. Again, one of the greatest two-way players. You can even say Charles Barkley was a solid defender, but he was getting beat out. I don't know, man. I'm just, it's just head scratching to me. It's just head scratching to me. Steve Nash, I don't know. I would consider him a all-around player, something like that. Even Joker, we talk about his defense. He's an all-around player. Can't say he's a one-way player. If he was just putting up stats, and if he was just putting up points and not the rebounds, he probably won't win. If he was just putting up rebounds and points, I don't think he'll win it neither because he don't play no defense. Like I said, maybe in this new era, SGA is a one-way player. Giannis is a two-way player. I guess you could say Curry is more of a one-way player, but it's offense, guys. I'm just saying, there's never been nothing like this, a one-way defensive player. And to me, like I said, his rebounds ain't no better than any of these other guys at their position because they was grabbing 18, 12, 15. So a guy sitting under the basket, Bill Russell all the time, his rebounds ain't no better than a guy who's on the perimeter and still grabbing 15, 18, 12. It ain't no better. I'm going to tell you this one more time. Bill Russell, one of the greatest defenders of all time. One-way player. Maybe like a Ben Wallace. Maybe like a Dennis Rodman. It's hard for me to say Dwight Howard because Dwight Howard was a better scorer. I guess you could say Dwight Howard at times. But Dwight Howard never won an MVP. When you could say, oh man, Dwight Howard won, what did he won, like 3 or 4 defensive player of the year, like a few rebound titles, block titles, and they still won't get them in the MVP. So the only thing, they're ever going to say is Bill Russell was winning them MVPs, not because he was a two-way player, not because he was an all-around player. It's because he led his team to these wins. Not championships, because the MVP, and we'll touch on this in a minute about this voting, because the MVP is supposed to be for the regular season, guys. But when you look at the nonsense where they say he led, he didn't lead nobody. He can't lead these guys who are better offensive players and great defenders. And he was stacked with all these Hall of Famers. You can't lead that, guys. If he had like 2 other Hall of Famers on his team, yes, I believe it. I believe it. Maybe. But it's hard to do that because he's a one-way player. But if that's what you want to say. And again, for this voting thing, I'm going to say it again, guys. If you believe voting really counts, that's on you. Because if you believe, yes, I believe they voted. I don't believe the voting came out right. I believe they voted, the committee just voted for whoever they wanted to. But they gave these guys a vote. Just like when you vote today, you're dumb enough to believe that your vote counts. But that ain't how it is. Whoever spends the most money of the people running for the election, well, that's some of it. But the politicians vote. That's in the law, guys. You get a popular vote. The politicians get what? The electoral vote. When you look at the law that was written in the Declaration of Independence, only the electoral vote counts, not the popular vote. That's why sometimes you see the popular vote outdid the electoral vote, right? Because the popular vote is just for shits and giggles. In the Constitution, it says that the people can't vote the president in. Yes, they can vote, but guess what? Only the politicians can vote. That's why they get a separate vote and they vote the president in. That's why when these people run, they will give the politicians all kind of money throughout the year, right? So by the time it's time for these politicians to vote, why they give them money? So they can pass certain laws to help their corporations and companies so they can, make more money. So they can pass laws. So once the voting comes around for the president, these politicians, they say, oh, we're going to vote for this candidate. Boom, bam, boom. Because we receive money from these certain corporations to pass these bills. So what I'm trying to say with this situation is it probably was a feel-good vote, guys, that the players got. Because this is what you got to remember. This is what you're trying to just take something from somebody, but you're not trying to, break it down. You're trying to take Bill Russell's 5 MVPs and put them up in blah, blah, blah area, but you're not saying he wasn't no two-way player. Look at all the help he had. He wasn't no all-around player. He wasn't the, top leading scorer on his team in the finals a lot of times. 90, what was it, like 95% of the time? Or the second or the third? It's ridiculous, guys. So they probably just gave them a vote because they didn't have a big media following back then, of course, right? So they just gave the players a vote for shits and giggles, and Bill Russell won it. They picked Bill Russell. The committee picked Bill Russell for a civil rights movement, because what you're telling yourself is, if you believe the players' vote counted, you're telling yourself that Bill Russell, with the most help of all time, and double the most help of all time of any player, wasn't a two-way player, wasn't an all-around player, wasn't even close to being a two-way player. Like I said, because his offense did put him close to being a two-way player. So you're trying to tell yourself, from taking this nonsense, because you don't want to face reality, that you believe that the players voted for Bill Russell was better than all these guys I showed you who were two-way players, all-around players, and led their team. Not led their team in defense or in offense. No, they led their team, period, with their all-around play or their two-way play. They couldn't just say, well, I'm going to do one thing. No. They had to do both. So it's up to you if you want to believe this nonsense. We don't put everything up. And it's what people don't want to, well, I'm just saying that the what do you call them? The social media platforms, they don't want to expose this stuff, guys. Because it really exposes that era. Not that these guys ain't no good. It just exposes the nonsense. He has no right to have 5 MVPs on a team like that, guys. And like I said, the Celtics of the 60s is the greatest team of all time. Not because they won 11 championships, yes. Because 1 through 10, they was the best. You couldn't beat them. Like I said, whatever team you want to get. You want to get the Dynasty Bulls. You can get the 80s Celtics, the 80s Lakers. I don't know. The 2000 Spurs. The 2000 Lakers. Whatever little dynasty team you want to get. That Celtics team was double better than those teams. Double. That's how deep they were. Tell me any all-time great team that brought 3 All-NBAs, 3 guys to the All-NBA like 10 years in a row, and would bring like 4 or 5 to the All-Defensive team. Tell me. And it had the number 1 defense for 10 years, and the number 1 SRS for 10 years, and 3-4 guys on the team scoring like 20 or more. It had the greatest point guard. It maybe had the second or first greatest defender of all time. Tell me what? It ain't gonna happen, guys. This was a team effort. Bill Russell did not stick out like a sore thumb. They're lying straight to your face. We can go over the regular season numbers. We can go over the playoff numbers. It's all the same, guys, as what we saw in the finals. We done went over a 7-part, 8-part series. And the reason why people want to stick to Bill Russell being more than what he is, because they don't want to do the homework. And the homework is easy. It's in your face. And that's it. If you want to put Bill Russell up there as a number 1 winner, yes. Bill Russell has no records. I think he has 1 record for the most rebounds in a finals game or something like that. He ain't got no records. No records. Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain coming out of the 60s was still considered, to those guys that grew up watching 60s basketball, was the greatest player of all time. Kareem wanted to be like Wilt Chamberlain. Nobody wanted to be like Bill Russell. Not because he wasn't a good player, because Bill Russell was just a part. He played his part to the team. That's it. If you want to say, oh, I want to be like Bill Russell, the ultimate winner. Well, you could say all those other guys played their part to the team. He had guys on his team that either was two-way players or all-around players. What are we talking about? Tom Heinsohn was a two-way player. Bob Cousy was an all-around player. Bill Sharman was a two-way player. An all-around player. John Havlicek was a two-way player. What? Bill Russell was a one-way player. That's it. Jim can't dispute none of this stuff, man. He's a goon. All he comes up with a whole bunch of MVPs. That's what he does for Bill Russell. In team accomplishments. That's it, guys. That's all he can come up with. If he thinks his player is the greatest player on some Fugazi MVPs, that's fine. With a loaded team, and he was a part of the greatest dynasty of all time, just played a part like the other guys did, that's fine. He wasn't the greatest rebounder in that era. He wasn't the greatest all-around player. He wasn't the greatest two-way player. And like I said, maybe he wasn't even the greatest rebounder. If we talk about per position, he was just one of the great rebounders of the era. What about shot blocking? Yes, he might have been one of the greatest shot blockers. We'll never know. Wilt Chamberlain was up there. We don't know how many blocks any of these other guys would have averaged either. We just don't know. But the stats we do know, he was just a one-way player. He wasn't the greatest rebounder. Wilt, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. It's like I said, man, Jim is nothing but what these other guys out here is. Nothing. A Nick Wright, a Shannon Sharp, a Scap, all these other guys, he's just the same dude that has his favorite player. Same thing he says, you got your favorite player and you're trying to be intimate with that and you're just trying to hang on to him and you don't like my criteria. Same thing with this guy. Remember, a lot of guys can't challenge him because they'll say they'll say one thing and then that's it. And then he'll be able to destroy him like that because that's easy. You could say, I done came up with 30 things for Bill Russell. Not to say Bill Russell ain't an all-time great. He's an all-time great player. He's not a top 10 player, and he definitely ain't. To me, he ain't a top 25 after I did all the homework. I had him tied with fourth with Kobe, but he's not in Kobe's league. If you really, let me say this, I'm about to get off. If you really believe a one-way player, like he believes, like he'll tell you, and all the rest of his teammates was trash, could lead a team to 5 championships, how come Ben Wallace couldn't do that? How come, even though Dwight Howard is more of a two-way player, how come Dwight Howard couldn't do it? How come Dennis Rodman couldn't do it? How come the Kembe Mutombo couldn't do it? They had good guys on this team, like 1 or 2 guys. Remember, with all his team, he didn't have no good teammates. They were just good because of Bill Russell. That's what Jim says. How come these great defensive players couldn't do it? Tell me some other great defensive one-way defensive players. Don't tell me no two-way because that ain't what Bill was. Tell me the one-way players who rebound and play defense that could get you 5 titles. Three? How about 2? Bill Russell got him 11 being a one-way leader. That's what Jim is trying to tell you. At best, he'll say he had 2 good players. And the rest of them are only Hall of Famers because the one-way play of Bill Russell. Hey, man, y'all might want to watch this video about 5 times. Because of more videos, I don't even think we can do no more videos. This is like the damn grand finale right here, guys. You might want to watch this like 5 times. And trust me, ain't nobody out here on these platforms doing this like me. Because they don't hold the same smoke for each other. When Scap said this stupid stuff, it ain't no smoke for him. They all want each other's subs. They don't want subs to run away from their channel because it's all about money. Why do you think Jim, when he comes on, thank you for this money, thank you for this money, thank you for, because it's all about money, guys. Money. That's all they care about is money. They'll say it ain't about the money, but it is about the money, guys. Because I already told you, I expose the NBA script. That's what I do. I don't push it. When you're out here saying, why LeBron James doing this? Why LeBron James saying this? Why LeBron? It's scripted for him to do this stuff. They want you to believe a dude running around road for 23 years, doing and saying what he want to do in a business, a billion, trillion, I don't know what it is, billions of dollars the NBA is. Never in any sports history, especially the NBA, some dude just ran around road for 22 years, get rid of this guy, getting this guy, blah, blah, blah. No, it's a script, guys. Once they found out he couldn't do what Kobe did, Jordan did, Shaq did, I'm not hating on Bill Russell. I love Bill Russell. But Bill Russell even did it right. Bill Russell didn't do nothing wrong, guys. They're just overrating Bill Russell. He's not overrated. They're overrating him. What Wilt did, what Jerry West did, what Hakeem did, when they found out that this guy, LeBron James, couldn't do what these guys did, they were done. The NBA was done. So they had to lower the bar and turn it into a comedy show. That's why when you watch these other platforms, they're pushing the NBA script. They want to say, oh, why LeBron James doing this? Why LeBron James doing why? It's a script, guys. Why do you think Michael Jordan never stepped in and defended himself from Nick Rice to Shannon Sharp, all these fools? Because Michael Jordan knows the script. He knows that's all they got. They ain't got guys like him and Patrick Ewing and Larry Bird and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain and Akeem and Kareem and all these guys that did it right. So they had to let LeBron James lower the damn bar. And that's where the NBA is today with these guys. Lower the bar, be one-way players. And I'm not trying to say it's anything wrong with being a one-way player. Bill Russell was a one-way player. But Bill Russell didn't do anything wrong. He was part of a team. But these guys are one-way players, don't play defense, aren't real leaders, flop, carry, travel, is fake referees, is fake head coaches. You think Red Auerbach will put up with some shit that's going on today? Get the hell out of here. These coaches were throwing chairs, cussing, giving it the players when they came back to the bench, sitting them out for the next game, all this stuff. This is a fake league, guys. I'm not going to wake up every day pushing the NBA script. Well, why you do this? Well, why you do that? Why you say this? Because that's in the script. Without LeBron James, it done got this bad in 2020s because the ratings are so bad that if he don't continue his clown show, it's MLB ratings, guys. We already went over the ratings for the 2020s. Nobody wants to see these guys play in the finals. They're uninteresting. They have no personalities. They're not American. They can't push the American pop culture. They're just here playing basketball. So that's why I said I'm the only one, and I don't care if it's 100 views, 50 views, whatever it is, that ought to tell you something. I'm the only one that's exposing the script, not pushing the script. I already told you a long time ago when LeBron James went to Miami, not one, not two, not three, taking my talents to South Beach, it became 95% entertainment off court. And the media will push it, right? What do I mean by that? When you look on the court, there's nothing to see. It's boring. You don't want to watch it. It ain't men suiting up going to war. Robberies, defense. You don't see that. So it's boring. But when you look on social media, and it was, brought in here by the debate shows, when you watch the debate shows or when you watch social media, you would think that the NBA will be the all-time high because it's so popular that happens off the court. Like, damn, there's something really going on in this league. But when you turn on the game, ain't nothing going on. So before, the soap opera was on the court. The on-court greatness turned into the soap opera, right? You need a soap opera, your sport is dead. But you want it to be the on-court greatness, that's the soap opera. Maybe like 5% off-court, whatever. A baby mama, this dude did something wrong, whatever. But you want 95% of the soap opera to come from the defense, the rivalries, the men playing like men, coaches going back and forth with other coaches, all this stuff. That's what you want, guys. You want that to create the soap opera. What the Celtics did in the 60s, that was a hell of a soap opera. And it just continues. 70s, 80s. You can grab any kind of soap opera from the 70s, the 60s, the 80s, the 90s. The soap opera that came from the on-court greatness. That the media would talk about. The on-court great. They would talk about that in the tabloids. They would talk about that on the TV. That was a soap opera that they could put in the tabloids. That they could put on TV. They can't do it now. They just make up stupid stuff. A GOAT debate. What's LeBron James going to do? This guy's hurt. This guy's getting traded. It ain't no on-court soap opera. This ain't greatness. And LeBron James has been the off-court, whatever you want to call it, but he's been a clown show since he went to Miami. That's not on-court greatness, guys. So he lowered the bar. There's no more bar after that. After 15, he don't make no defensive teams, so the other superstars don't want to make defensive teams. He flops, he cries, he travels, he carries. They're going to do it too. The refs ain't going to call because they don't call it on LeBron James. And then the bar has been lowered to bring in guys, the 2020 guys who are up at the top. Nobody in the United States is buying this shit. Because they're not the top 5 guys, best guys of any era. They ain't better than the top 5 guys of the 2010s, the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. They don't compare. And look, I'm not trying to be mean, but it's just from them shoving these dudes in our face. Let them play. Let them be themselves. Let them be who they are. They don't cause no trouble. I'm not trying to say that, but stop comparing these guys. Your comparison stops at the ratings. And the ratings tell the whole story. Nobody wants to see these guys play. Your SGAs, your Lucas, your Giannis, all these guys has been in the finals. The Jokers, they got the lowest rating finals of any era. Nobody wants to see them play, guys. So you want to run and talk about what everybody's talking about on their platform? That's fine. The pushing the script, that's fine. But if you want to hear some real stuff, welcome back. I walk in, what Jim is doing, we done heard most of that stuff before. It was guys already out here putting that stuff out. His every other video is LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Jordan, LeBron, Nick Wright, Jordan, LeBron. People done exposed that stuff way before he done came along. Now, he does have some stuff that we never heard. Fine. I appreciate it. But where it stopped with me is this Bill Russell thing. And it wasn't really because he had Bill Russell at number 2. It was because he started pooping on Wilt Chamberlain, Oscar Robertson, and Jerry West, and Elgin Baylor, all these guys. Saying they wasn't good enough, they didn't do this, and they failed on this. What? just take your guy at number 2, your one-way player that had the most help of all time. That's a modern day, Dikembe Mutombo, whatever. And shut up. You ain't got to poop on everybody else because you're trying to cover up all the help he had, and he's a one-way player. So that's what got me with Jim. And then after that, it was just like, this dude is about money. Because when you look at his channel, every other video on the title is LeBron, Jordan. LeBron, Jordan. Because he knows where the money is. If you don't put LeBron on his title, nobody will watch it. Because that's how the algorithm is. So it ain't about exposing NBA history. You try to say, oh, I'm telling NBA history. No, it ain't. You telling LeBron James history. And you try to act like, yeah, I got all these different categories with these people. It's LeBron James, guys. We already know LeBron James is fraudulent. He's an actor. He's a scripted actor. He already knows it. We already told you before that Kobe even told us he's not a bad guy. He's a funny guy. They was telling us on debate shows in the early 2010s that he's the nice guy. He didn't want to go to Miami and wear the black hat, but that's the only way he could win championships. So he took the black hat to win championships. He's been playing this role this whole time. Don't doubt me. I don't put out the videos. He's playing a character. If you have no idea who LeBron James really is. He's playing a character to get what he can get from the NBA. Well, not get what he can get, to help the NBA out on some ratings, because they don't have nothing in the 2020s, guys. He's playing a role. I know it's hard to believe, but that's just the way it is, guys. You ain't never seen no era of NBA or sports like this. That's all. The NBA is holding on by tooth and nail. Don't matter these fake contracts they trying to tell you they're giving these guys. If you want to believe it, that's fine. ESPN done got rid of all their good people. Fox did. They can't afford to pay nobody. The Lakers sold. Boston sold. Milwaukee sold. I think it was Milwaukee sold. The NBA is going down, dude. It's going to crash. Mark my words. LeBron James might go out on his last title, and we'll talk about that. I think we done talked about it. But this year, when LeBron James leave, it's over.